going, everybody? Welcome back to Transport Fever 2, and welcome back to the expanded highway project. It's gone pretty well. I've got to be honest, I've continued north a little bit, and we now have connections to Oklahoma City, to Huntsville, and also over to Montgomery. And I'm also thinking at some point we're going to continue north towards Thousand Oaks, because we are doing some stuff up there, so I figure it's probably not a bad idea to just try and get this highway to connect to about everything. Really, that's kind of my goal, is to get it to connect to just about everything. But today, I've been thinking a little bit about Oklahoma City, and I've realized that we're not really providing it with all that much. They want food, they want bricks, they want fuel, they're getting tools, they want machines, and they want goods. Now, obviously, you might have noticed that I've gone ahead and expanded the city just a little bit. I've also redone a few of the lines that are coming in here, so everything's a little bit more efficient. And basically this bricks line, for example, if we have a look at it, now goes right around everything, which is doing wonders for the Oklahoma bricks delivery line, because it's basically, with the exception of this little intersection down here, it's basically not getting stuck in traffic quite as much. There's a few spots where it gets a little bit busy, sometimes in here, and occasionally over here it has some trouble getting across this road because there's a lot of traffic coming in there. But other than that, it's doing really, really well. And then there's also this guy, the tools delivery line. This used to stop on, I want to say, this little alleyway right here. I decided to do a similar thing. It now comes in, it goes around, it goes to this station, and then it heads back out. It's doing wonderful things as well, and it's not really getting stuck in traffic, which again is exactly what we're looking for. So essentially, I want to do that same thing with food and with tools and machines and with goods. And I'd also, hopefully, I want to get some more public transport in here, because we are lacking a little bit. This entire sort of lower space of the town has nothing. This area up here could use a little something. And I mean, if we have a look at the Oklahoma Loop, it's definitely lacking. I also don't love that it does this. That's not something I'm particularly pleased about. I think we could definitely improve this. In fact, I think what we're going to do, it is quite popular. There's 99 people waiting here. There's 106 people waiting here, 46 waiting here. And, well, there's a few. There's a few waiting in here as well. I think we're just going to get rid of all of those. And I think that's where we're going to start today, is going in, managing those vehicles. We are going to sell those vehicles, and then we're going to delete the Oklahoma Loop. I'm going to copy and paste the name because we're going to be keeping that, but we're going to delete it, and I'm going to get rid of all the bus stops in here. And I guess we'll just try and do something a little bit better, kind of like what we did in Garland. We're going to try and improve the entire setup. And I think the way we can do that is by potentially sort of repurposing this square again, sort of similarly to what we did in Garland. So let's clear out all these buildings, and we'll go ahead and get ourselves some kind of bus station in here. Now, what I'm thinking is I'm going to put this thing sort of off center a little bit, because I want to have some fun with it and see if we can do something a little bit interesting. So we'll go for, I'm going to say about there. Should be totally fine. I think we'll rotate it just a little bit so it's more like this. And then for the road connecting it, we're just going to go straight down to here. So it is going to just be a very straight shot down. I could put it at an angle so we have more of a right angle here. That might actually be a little bit better for the traffic. I've got no idea if it really will be, but that's what we're going to do. So we'll build you. And then for this guy, I kind of want to see if I can just expand it a little bit. Now I could do some large buildings in here that might look much better. And I'm kind of thinking that's what I want to do. Maybe we'll do sort of a large building there, some small buildings at the sides, maybe a couple of small buildings down here. I don't think we need to go too crazy with all the different buildings, to be quite honest. Can I get something in the middle down here that's going to, is that going to work? I don't like that they have that gap between them. I'm not really a fan of that, but I think it's going to do the job. And then on this side, we can just hopefully do, I don't know, a bunch of small buildings. Maybe we'll do a couple of small buildings here. We'll do a bunch of small buildings across this way. And I think that's also going to have the really annoying gap there. But if this gets surrounded with other buildings and if I put some bushes around it, I think it looks just a little bit better. I think having some buildings around it's really going to do a number to make it look the part, but this I think is going to do the job for Oklahoma City. So now I want to figure out exactly where we're going with all the stops, and this time around I'm not necessarily going to do the same split that we did down in Garland, but I think maybe, I mean we could, but I think we'll just do one line that sort of does the top part of the city, one line for sort of down here. So we'll do 3, right? We'll do 1 for the top and then 2 for the bottom, and that should be totally fine. So in terms of the stops themselves, we can go up to here. So we're going to start down here at the station and go up this way. And I'm kind of thinking we can probably just go straight across this road and then still, you know, maybe turn down this way. I'd also want to get rid of that road because it's really, really not a good place. So we come straight across, we come straight down here. I'm kind of leaving out this entire middle section of the city. I'm kind of thinking I don't really want to touch this avenue though, because there's a lot of people that are trying to get in there, and getting across this road is going to be kind of a pain. So we'll come down to here, and then I'm going to try and cut up this way. Again, that might be a bit of a pain to do though. There's not as much traffic cutting across this avenue down here, so we'll give that a shot is what I think we'll do. And I think we'll go to about there, and that's basically going to be our loop. So if we go in there and say that we want to create a new line, of course the game's auto-saving as soon as I try to do this, but something like this I think is what we're looking for. It does still sort of miss that central part, but I'm kind of willing to give that a shot. So we'll do Oklahoma loop number 1, and we'll go for, I think we had a really dark blue before, so this time around let's go for, what have we got in here? A lot of red. So I guess we'll go for another, I don't know, let's go for a green. Let's go for a very, very light green this time. Just, we have a lot of green in here already. Never mind. You know what? We'll go for a blue again, just to change up a little bit. So that's going to be loop number 1. And then loops 2 and 3, you can sort of see in here. There's not really any overlap going on, although I'm kind of thinking that I might create a little bit of overlap just right here. That seems like it would be an interesting idea. So you can kind of get one down to this road, hop onto the other one. That doesn't seem like the worst thing we could do. This road's also not crazy busy, so I'm not really against doing this. So if we manage loop number 2, after stop 3, we want to go to here, and then after on loop number, loop number 3, after South Street, we want to go to Davis Street right about there, and that should keep us pretty good. That's going to be a nice little crossover point for the 2 lines, and I think I'm okay with that. That's kind of the general loop, all those blue lines for Oklahoma. So now we just need to get ourselves some vehicles. Do we even have a vehicle depot in Oklahoma? It doesn't look like we do. Unless I'm a little bit blind, which is definitely possible, but it doesn't look like we do, which I'm sort of okay with. It's not really the end of the world. If we don't have one, we can get one down in Salem. We can get one up in Montgomery. And honestly, yeah, there's a lot of traffic actually. Well, you know what? There's a lot of traffic going to Montgomery. There's not a lot going out of it. So you know what? We will get the buses up here. And I would have to imagine that 8 buses per line is probably going to be enough. So these guys can head out. They are thankfully going to be avoiding the traffic in here, which now that I look at it, that is a pretty busy road straight through there. So maybe we should go ahead and try to upgrade it just a little bit. It's mostly busy from this point though. So let's just do this little section. And you know what? I'm noticing there's definitely some intersections that we don't need here. Like you can definitely go away. That's definitely not needed. This entire section I'd be tempted to get rid of. It's kind of a mess, but we'll see what that does for Montgomery. I was kind of hoping that the highway connection would do good for it, but apparently not. Apparently that's not going to be the case in the slightest. There are people using it, which is kind of exciting, and we do have this little, you know, intersection thing here, which I'm very happy with. It doesn't look amazing, but it does function, and I do have waypoints around here, so I do have lines that actually use it. It's really cool. I'm genuinely really pleased with this thing. It's honestly, the highways have just been really fun to sort of look at, because every now and then you look at it and you see like, well, you see this quite a bit as well. This is why is that road so busy? Is that just the line from Huntsville to Oklahoma City? It really is. That's kind of wild. We should probably do some public transport from Huntsville to Oklahoma City, right? That's probably not a bad idea. I'm also noticing an opportunity to sort of rebuild a massive chunk of Oklahoma, so I'm going to take that opportunity because I do think it'll help us a little bit. I don't think I have anything using this road right here. So this road is going to go away. And then what we can do is bring a road from here to there. And now we have a straight shot through here with an avenue, which I can only imagine is going to be good for us. And I'm also thinking I'm going to increase the density of this road so that we have a few more turning lanes. I've been doing some research, and I know that increased density on the roads in this game really doesn't do all that much for you, but I'm willing to give it a shot for this sort of middle section here, and we'll see how that goes. I'm also thinking might not be a bad idea to build a road right about here, since we do already have intersections there. And then for the rest of this, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm kind of thinking that it might not be a bad idea to lock this road so that we don't end up with any more stupid intersections on it. We already have a lot of them, but I'd like to sort of keep this thing clear as much as I possibly can of any more intersections getting added to it. And you know what? I'm going to lock this entire section up to just the entire thing. Actually, we're going to lock all of it so nothing gets built onto it. And we'll see what that does for us. But the other reason this is good is because in theory, I can go ahead and get myself a bus that goes out here. So Huntsville is growing, which is good. I would imagine that's, yeah, because of the destinations. I want to say that we should probably do something with Huntsville to improve it a little bit. I'm also keenly aware of the terrible road layout in here, but I think what we do is we go ahead and, I don't know why I've got the game paused. We'll go ahead and upgrade this road because this connects out to the highway. And then what we can do is get some loops around here. So we'll get some buses that go, you know, down here, over there, up into this space. It covers just about everything, into about there, and we'll come down to here. So we'll do a single loop around the town. And then somewhere, I want to build myself a little station. And I'm kind of looking at this space and thinking that would be good. So we'll take these buildings out. I'm going to take these roads out because we don't need them. And I'm going to take this stop out and replace it with an actual bus and tram station with, we'll do 2 platforms just because I don't think we don't need 2. We can get away with just the 1, to be honest, but this thing will look better with 2. And we're going to go for about here. I think that road can also be upgraded to, oh, do I want to upgrade it to an avenue? I don't think there's any need to upgrade it to an avenue, but I might just do it because, well, you know, we'll upgrade it to a regular road for now. Is what we'll do. Just upgrade the entire thing to look like this, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to get rid of this guy because I don't think we need that connection. And I think what we can do is replace it with this connection, and that should keep us pretty good as well. And then basically we'll have a loop going around here, and we'll have a bus that goes back and forth from Oklahoma to Huntsville and just see how it goes, basically. So long story short, we want to start at this station. And we want to go to this station. It's going to be road passengers. It is Oklahoma to, was it Huntsville? So that's how we'll do that one. We'll make it a nice, I don't know, we'll go for a slightly lighter blue because it's still grouped with Oklahoma, and that seems fine. And then basically we just do a loop around Huntsville, and actually we do need the 2 stops. I'm an idiot. We couldn't have got away with 1 because we have the loop in here as well. That should be good though. That should work out nicely. And so now we have 5 vehicles heading for the Huntsville loop. We're going to have 10 on the line between Huntsville and Oklahoma. And these vehicles are really struggling to get out of Montgomery because of the trains trying to get into Montgomery. So I have to wonder, would I be able to get these trains to go underneath that road, or the road to go underneath the trains? I would take either at this point, and I feel like getting the road to go underneath the trains might be the easier option. So let's experiment a little bit here. The game's not going to love that I'm doing this at the minute, but we're going to give it a shot. We'll take out all of this, and then I'm going to take out this entire section of road, I guess. So right back to there. I've got vehicles in the way. That's going to be a problem. So we need to reconnect you for just a second so I can push these vehicles right back. So we'll push them back to there. We'll push you back to there. That is getting rid of a lot of things, but that's okay. And then basically from this spot to that intersection, can I sink that down to give us something to go up and above, or to go over with the train line? I can go pretty far down with it. It's not going to look good, but I think that's sort of what we're going to do to start this. And then hopefully I can just do this. And I mean, it looks like I absolutely can, which is great. I wasn't really expecting to just be able to There it is. There it is. I knew that was coming. All right. That's not what I wanted to do at all there. That's really not what I wanted to do. Let's just redo that entire section of road because I completely messed it up. All right, so this is much better, but it looks terrible. So I think what we do is we try and hit this with a bit of a smoothing brush just to obviously sort of even out a little bit in terms of terrain. I think we go in here and we do a little bit of road right here and a little bit of road right here. And then I'm just going to sort of redo these connections and see if it makes them any smoother, which I have my doubts that it will. I think this is always going to sort of perpetually be really, really steep. This part I'm kind of hoping I can have a bit more luck with though, because if I push this right back to say about there, I should be able to get this to sort of curve down a lot more gently, which I absolutely can. So we have to take you out to make this work. But I think if I go from there, that's not what I wanted. If I go from here to there, yeah, that's instantly a lot better. Obviously, I think it's very steep on the other side, but yeah, I think we can work with that. I wonder, I almost wonder if I put a bit of road in here, this might screw everything up, but I'm going to give it a shot. And then I go from that spot up to here. Even that's better. You know, I think even that's more acceptable than what we had before. So I think that's kind of what we're going to go for. We'll hit that with a smoothing brush just to make it look a little bit better. And that is instantly going to make it so much easier for traffic to get in and out without being bothered by the trains. So we've made Montgomery a little bit more efficient as well. Oh, and I should probably mention the other reason I wanted to do my own little section of road that leads to this bus station. That's because you can actually turn the traffic lights off at this intersection, whereas when you have something like this, where it's just a depot connecting to the road, you have no control over traffic lights. So obviously we don't have them switched on here, but that's because there's no need for them. Basically, I can't turn them on, I can't turn them off. The game decides. Doing my own little section of road gives me full control, so we can have no traffic lights here, which I think is going to be good. And honestly, we could probably turn traffic lights off in a few places here. I really don't think we need them here. There's not that much traffic. Same with here. I'll keep them for the major intersections, but we'll keep them off for anything that's not particularly busy. And I've already gone through and done that for quite a few sections of this road already. And I'm also wondering what types of road, hold on a minute. What types of road have I used down here? So small streets. Did I use highways here accidentally? Is that what those are? Yeah, I may have used some small country roads here by accident, which is absolutely not what these guys are supposed to be. I was wondering why they looked a little bit more, well, country, I guess is it's the only way to put it. So we'll get those fixed up like that, which looks much better. I've also got a bunch of these guys locked as well. So these avenues are locked. Anything can be built in the inside here, but I'm being very, very careful with where I let the game build things by default. So with all of that said and done, and hopefully a nice fleet of vehicles on the way to Oklahoma to start going around and doing their thing, I think we can go ahead and turn our attention to the other things that Oklahoma happens to need, which is going to be a nice supply of food and of fuel and of other things as well. But food is probably going to be the easiest thing to zone in on. So if we zoom out a little bit, we can hopefully get some options. Now, we do have some food production down here. This place is being supplied by a train line. I'm not too sure if I want to use that, but if we look around a little bit further, we have got some farms over here by Alexandria and Lexington. We have got a food processing plant by Huntsville, so that's potentially a little setup that we could do there. We do have a better food processing plant up by Lexington, which is going to take meat and coffee and alcohol and turn it into food, and we can do obviously that 2-to-1 ratio on those things. So maybe not a bad idea to lean into that one. We do have a coffee refinery down here, so if we can get 2 coffee berries, we can turn it into coffee beans and send that up to be turned into food. I just don't see anywhere nearby where I can get coffee berries from, which is a little bit unfortunate. We do have somewhere down here by Seattle. We could use that. It's not too much of a distance, especially if I built my own roads or we did trains or something like that. We have Norfolk, which has a meat processing plant. It has a couple of livestock farms as well, but no grain nearby, so we'd have to bring that in from somewhere. Although, we have Des Moines Farm just north of it. So that might be a really good setup as well. We take, you know, 1 grain to 1 cattle, and then we go ahead and do the 1 cattle to 1 meat, and then we go 1 meat to 2 food. That would be quite a production line to set up. It's kind of 1-to-1 the entire way, actually, isn't it? So 1 of you becomes 1 cattle, which becomes, yeah, 1 meat, and then becomes 2 food. So we could set up something very good there. We could actually use trains to do that, or just a whole string of trucks if I really wanted to. But I think for simplicity's sake, I might actually just use these 2 farms, because we have got, obviously, the 2 of them right here, right? So that's a good start. It's a 2-to-1 ratio of grain to food at this guy. So we just have both farms funnel into this food processing plant. We try and level the thing up like crazy. And I mean, these guys can be maxed out up to 600 each. So that seems like kind of a decent enough way to go. So let's start figuring this out. Let me start redoing some roads around here so I can just make this area a little bit easier for trucks to navigate, and a little bit easier for me to understand as well, because it's a bit of a mess right now. So we'll take out that entire road, which is fine. And I guess what we'll do, I mean, this guy, honestly, plastic production's not a terrible idea up here either. We do have plastic production and goods production over here, but a little bit more plastic production probably wouldn't hurt us. Let's see. Actually, you know what? We have 12,769 plastic in storage at this goods factory. We don't we don't need more. Okay? How did that happen? Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Where is the steel? Montgomery Steel to Goods has never really made money. There's a lot of steel over here. Is it just, oh my God. Okay, how are you doing right now? You've got a lot. You're doing all right. So it's just this line I think sucks. That's kind of embarrassing. All right, so your rate right now is 49. That's great. What's the rate on the plastic goods line? 16. That's terrible. So you're telling me that, oh my, that's really bad. The fact that there's 12,000 stored in here. How have I done that? How have I done that? Oh my God. Okay, swap these out for some better trucks, please. Swap you guys out for some better trucks as well. I think that's probably reasonable. So that'll bring your rate up to 38, which is great. What is that line doing? So that's plastic to goods is doing what right now? It's that back and forth right there. That seems like that doesn't seem like it's that far to have such a low rate. That's kind of odd, to be honest with you. We do have a lot of crude oil in here as well. I'm assuming, yeah, we're using the old trucks. So let's replace those with this guy, which can carry everything. So the rate's going to go from 554 or 544 to 971. Okay. Well, that's that's fair enough. And then oil to plastic 171. Let's replace you guys. That's going to go to 305. That's yeah, that's wow. Okay. We need to move a little bit more steel is what I'm thinking right now. Where oh man, you know, it might be a really good idea to send these trucks up and around as well to avoid traffic. I think that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna send them this way. I'm gonna put some waypoints in. I've gotten slightly sidetracked from my idea of helping Oklahoma, but this is ridiculous. So Montgomery Central, you're gonna go to here, and so you're going sort of up and around, and then after Montgomery North, you're gonna go to here, which is much better. This rate is now 279, so it's improving. I think the traffic might have actually been holding this back a little bit. So that's wow, man. I'm excited to see if this thing levels up. That's what I'm excited about. Anyway, let's come back to what I was doing and let's get this food situation sorted out. So let me figure out what I'm going to want to do here. So I think this road is sort of going to be our main one. We have got this little farm down here, which, I mean, we can do a few things with it. Let's just be relatively simple with it, I guess. We'll get ourselves a nice little small country road. We could do the medium country road, actually. It's got a higher speed limit, which I think is fair enough. I do sort of want to go straight across here, but I don't think it's going to let me, so we'll go to about this spot and see how it behaves. Is it... it's, you know, that's actually not so bad. I'm kind of okay with that. It's going to mess with the train a little bit, but that's all right. So we'll do something like that. Can I cut across here nicely? I can. So that's going to be our connection to the farm. And then for the farm over here, I might have to get rid of one of the fields. That might be what we do here as we go in and we get rid of this field up here, which they're not going to love, but I think it's okay. We can manage that. And then basically both of them need to cut over to probably this road here. This one can sort of cut up to this road up here. They both go into this guy, and then food goes out to where it needs to go. Okay, so everything is set up the way we would need it to be. We have some lines coming down here to pick up some grain at both of these farms. That's getting brought into Huntsville North, where that's going to get turned into food. And what I decided to do was set up a couple of lines so that we have one line going down to Oklahoma City, we have another line going to Montgomery, and they're all going to be using the highway to get around rather than these back roads, because obviously, well, this one's already a little bit busy, so we don't want to make things worse. What I would like to do is go ahead and get myself a new road depot, and I think we'll build that up here in Huntsville itself, which again, you know what? I'm getting rid of that road connection, and to try and stop that from building again, I'm going to just put it, I'm going to put this guy here. And we'll see if that works. I have my doubts, but we'll build this thing right about there, and that should be perfect. And then what I think we'll do is we're going to start relatively small. So I'm going to get myself 4 of these guys, and I'm going to paint them this color because they're moving grain. And I'm going to say 2 of those are going on road cargo, and it's, you know, grain to food 1, and then Huntsville, it is grain to food 2. So that'll be the initial production. And then for delivery to Montgomery and to Oklahoma, I think we just do the same thing. I think we just get maybe another 4 of these guys just to start the production. And it's food delivery this time. So we'll do sort of a light greenish color. I don't know if that's all that pleasant to look at, but it will do. So food to Oklahoma, and then the other one was food to Montgomery. And that should be everything pretty much set up, really. That should mean that these farms are hopefully both producing. Yeah, we got some grain down here. We got some grain up here. I think depending on how this thing produces will depend on how the farms go. Realistically speaking, production is 100. So I think the farm's going to try to produce about 100 each. So if I look at you, I mean, your shipment is currently 67. What if I got, you know, one more vehicle in here? So if I go and say, give me one more of those, that'll bring us up to 104, which is great. If I go and look at the other one, it's got 45. So if I manage those vehicles and just duplicate both of you, that should bring us close to 190. That's fine. So now between both of these, we should be supplying enough for this thing to max out its production. And then in terms of shipment, if we have a look at this guy, it's a rate of 30. And if we have a look at you, it's a rate of 28. So if I manage vehicles and put one more on each of these lines, that'll come up to 42. You know what? Let's do another one on there. So that's comfortably above 50. So that's our Montgomery one. And then one more vehicle on you is going to bring us to 45. You know what? Let's do another in there as well. So 60. Basically, we should be able to ship everything that gets produced. We should be able to max out that factory, which means the factory is probably going to try and level up at some point. And there we go. We have some food production going on. That's all going to be going down to Oklahoma, which is fantastic news. We've got a bunch of buses stuck in traffic between Oklahoma City and Huntsville, which was, I mean, let's be honest, it was kind of to be expected. I was kind of expecting that to happen. It's a little bit unfortunate that seemed to happen, but I might have an idea for how we can fix that. We have the buses currently using this road here. Why don't we go in and grab the buses and say that you're going to do something a little bit differently? So after Taylor Street, let's have you go there. So you're going to hit the highway and use that as your way in. Then after Main Street, you're going to go there. So now the buses don't even touch this road right here, which means they should be able to be a lot more effective. Hopefully. They also don't cross over each other here, which is fantastic news. They do hit that Main Street, which is pretty busy, but it's not quite as bad as this road here. We might want more roads like this, to be quite honest. Or Or we just get rid of that road and force them to use the highway. That would be an option as well. But at the very least, I'm hoping we've done some good here. I'm hoping that we've managed to, you know, get this set up a little bit, start moving some food over to Montgomery, start moving some food down into Oklahoma City. I think we've definitely improved things a little bit in terms of the, you know, the general connectivity around here. We've got more people moving around as well, which is great. And apparently I have an old plane. Interesting. What kind of plane are you? It's that's a Boeing, right? 737-100. Yeah. It's 12 years old. Really? That's okay. It's on the Salem to Miami line. Okay. I mean, we could. It's not a very popular line. It's kind of losing money, which has me inclined to say that maybe we just go and manage the vehicles a little bit. And I don't know, maybe we don't need all of them. Maybe we don't need all of these guys. Maybe we say that, I mean, these are the two more recent ones. Let's see what my options are right now. So if we look at passenger, we have, okay, so we have this guy, which is great. I mean, that is literally 3 times the capacity of the 737, which again is good. But with no one really going back and forth, it might not be a bad idea to basically go ahead and say, get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4 of you guys. We'll sell them. That gets me a decent little bit of money back. And we'll replace the ones that we have with this. It's 60 million, but it keeps the capacity that we had from before. So we still have a capacity of 120. We're only, you know, using 2 planes this time. And interestingly, Salem to Miramar seems to be quite a busy run as well. 300 capacity right here. We have however many vehicles. We have 15. We could bring that down to 5 if I really wanted to. So I think what we do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. We're going to sell you guys. We are then going to swap these guys out for the DC-10- or DC-10-30, 157 million to do that. It keeps that capacity of 300 though. So we're still moving as many people, maybe not as often, but I think the plane is also, I think it's a faster plane as well. So it might be, it might work out. It's fewer planes in the sky moving just as many people as before. I'm sort of okay with that. And I still, ooh, I can add a second runway now. I'm absolutely going to do that. I've been waiting to do this for a while. I'm not going to lie. Let's get a taxiway out there. Let's get some approach lights. I don't think, oh, I can get them down there. Interesting. Let's get the approach lights. I can put them on the road apparently, which, yeah, okay. I mean, there's a forest we're probably not going to be using, but all right. That's pretty neat. I've got to be honest. I like that a lot. Does it mess with my, I don't know if it does mess with my planes. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest with you. I don't, for the life of me, really understand what way the plane's going to work here, but it's a bigger airport. I mean, it's Salem. It's kind of the capital that we have. So we'll see if this is good. We'll see if the upgrade to the planes works out. We'll see if people are excited about it. Oh, so you remember when I said that pushing all my vehicles out to this outer road in Oklahoma was going to be a great idea? It seems like that might be starting to backfire a little bit because I just have a lot of vehicles that are trying to use this road. Although in saying that, a lot of these guys are trying to get in here and have just recently broken out of traffic jams. So there's kind of a big old group of them coming through, especially any of the lighter blue ones. These guys were stuck in traffic trying to get out of Huntsville for a while. So hopefully they'll sort of filter through. I'm kind of hoping it'll all work out. We do have at least some of them that are, you know, on the highway using it. It's going well for them. So hopefully we'll see that all just improve a little bit. This traffic coming out of Huntsville, to be quite honest with you, I don't really think there's much I can do about it. I mean, there's options, I'm sure, but adding more lanes to this road isn't really going to fix that. This is just, it's all just trying to go to one place. It's all trying to get into Oklahoma City. Where it's trying to go from there, I mean, that could be anywhere. We could have a look and see, you know, your destination is residential building down in Oklahoma City. So I think a lot of them are, I don't know, living here, working elsewhere. It doesn't matter. We can work on it, but I think this is a really good start. But I'm also thinking it might be a good idea to have this food line go around a little bit differently. Right now, it's trying to take this main avenue to come down through here. I don't think that's going to work too well for us because there is a lot of traffic there. So what we can do is hopefully get around that just a little bit. And I think what I might actually do here is upgrade this road to be an avenue and punch it straight through here. So we're sort of creating another main road in Oklahoma. So we'll change this guy up to be a bit of an avenue, a little bit something like this. We can go straight through from one side to the other like this. And then I think what I'm going to do as well is get rid of just a few of these connections because I just don't think we need them. And that's going to give us fewer intersections, which I think is going to be good. It would be nice to do that down here, but this space is a lot more densely populated. So I'm going to sort of avoid doing that. I think this road can go away. This road can go away. And then I'm going to just sort of change some of these guys up a little bit. So you're going to be changed to this. You're going to get swapped out as well, which is absolutely a thing we have to do. And then I'm just going to do this to connect those guys together. And I think that'll be okay. I think this one can go as well. And that seems fine. We could, admittedly, since we have this connection here, we could do something like that as well, which it's a little bit ugly looking. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's a decent enough connection. And I think what we'll do as well is bring this guy over a little something like that. Maybe upgrade this one as well and take out this one. So again, a fewer connections. We can lock this road as well. I think I'll lock these guys down here since I don't really want more connections to these avenues. And I think I'm also going to lock this one up here because I really don't want more connections to that avenue either. Same with in here. I think we just lock this entire thing just to keep us good. And then the whole point of doing this was because I wanted to add a waypoint down here so that we can go ahead and say that, you know, instead of getting straight to Mill Street, you go to this waypoint and then you go straight across to Mill Street. So now those trucks should be avoiding the traffic coming in here, which is great. And if I wanted to, I could have it avoid the traffic on the way out as well. I mean, it could hit this avenue instead, but I think we'll be okay with that as the setup for the time being. Although in saying that, it looks like we're going to end up with a lot sort of left over up here for Oklahoma. If we have a look at the factory, consumers are 83 to Oklahoma, 10 to Montgomery. So if we have a look at the Oklahoma line, we probably want to get ourselves another vehicle or two in here. We'll go and duplicate this one, and that brings us up to 75. We'll get one more, and that's going to bring us to 90. So that'll keep us good. We're going to be moving everything that gets made for Oklahoma now. And then Montgomery, I mean, they'll figure it out. Oh, we're also having this problem where trucks are kind of getting stuck a little bit because, yeah. Turns out that this is not necessarily big enough to move everything. Although in saying that, 680 is the Montgomery to plastic route at the minute. Is that a bit much? This thing's leveling up, to be fair. This thing, I mean, it's now making more, which is great. It needs one plastic. So 680, I mean, what's the rate going to go up to once this levels up? 400? 500? Because it's 1-to-1. So basically we just need to match the production here, which means I can get rid of some of the trucks back there, which might be a really good idea. It just kind of depends on how 400. Okay. So basically I want to look at this line, plastic to goods. I don't want to pin you. I want to pin you and bring that number from 680 down to about 400. So let me grab 5 of these guys and sell them. And that brings it down to 513. Grab 2 more and sell those. Brings us down to 445. Let's get rid of 1 more. And that brings us down to 411. So that's absolutely perfect. Looking in here, it's 1-to-1 on oil to plastic. Production right now is 100. That's honestly fine because I think this line has a rate of 400 as well with only 6 trucks. So hopefully that just improves things. There was just way too many trucks coming into this depot. I have expanded it already, as you can see, and it still wasn't enough. So we'll see what happens. The good news is this thing is leveling up. It did drop in pretty much every level because this thing was just completely jam-packed with trucks at one point there. But, you know, again, it's been sorted out. This thing is probably going to level up again soon enough. I mean, if we look at our consumers, we're shipping everything, we're supplying everything, but eventually you know, these towns are going to want more. So this will probably, like I said, level up a little bit. And in saying that, I mean, Oklahoma wants goods as well. Huntsville happens to want goods. So we can definitely use this factory to start shipping things out. I mean, you know, we could bring some goods from here onto the highway down into Oklahoma that way. We can bring them onto the highway into Huntsville as well. So we have plenty of options, but I think that's something we can explore in the next one, because I think we can go ahead and leave it there for today. I'm quite happy with where Oklahoma is. It is growing. It's aiming for nearly 3,000 people. Its public transport is a little bit better in my opinion, although traffic in general still kind of sucks. But that's kind of part of the brand at this point, you know? That's just sort of a me thing at this point. I don't know that that's ever really going to change. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll spend some time. I'll take a long weekend and just sit and learn how to do traffic properly in this game, and also hopefully apply it to City Skylines. Anyway, that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.